Hey guys, so I've been really wanting to make this video talking a little bit about my journey with CrossFit and how it led to a really bad injury. And let me just set the stage for you guys because I did CrossFit, and I'll put a picture here of my before and after 6 years of CrossFit. So that's me after doing 6 years of CrossFit. And the reason why I gained so much weight before I started CrossFit, because I had gone off and on with CrossFit before. I had done it for a year and then took a break during the pandemic and then came back to it when everything was safe and clear. And really, why I had gained so much weight during the pandemic was actually because of a medication. So I was on a shot for a psychiatric meds that literally made me gain up to 200 pounds in a very short period of time. I'm talking about 3 to 4 to 5 months. And so I was shocked because a lot of the time when doctors say weight gain might be a side effect, it's a big if, because different bodies handle medications in different ways. But for me, the weight gain came on so fast and so hard. I had never been that high of a weight in my entire life, and I felt completely helpless, completely dissociated from my body, and I was probably around 200 pounds at that time, and so I'm gonna kind of go into this story of how I lost most of that weight. Now, most of the weight I lost was through diet and exercise. I did CrossFit 4 to 5 times a week for 6 years. I ate a pretty healthy diet, was always cooking for myself, and I still ate out, but I would choose healthier options like salads, like salmon, those types of things. But the pressure in my mind was always there of just wanting to feel good in my body. And CrossFit made me feel good in my body. Not only was I getting a serotonin boost from actually the workouts themselves, but I was starting to shape up. I even had a little upper abs going on. And I was really liking how my legs were filling out and I was getting muscle. And the CrossFit in general is a very competitive environment. And so I can be a competitive person. So I really leaned into that. And a lot of the times with CrossFit, the coaches push you past your limits. And sometimes that can be good, but sometimes that creates a toxic environment. I remember this one time, this girl who had just started, like she was like 1 week, 2 weeks in, and they were pressuring her to lift a weight that was clearly too heavy for her. And I just watched as the coach kept saying, "You can do it, you can do it, you can do it." And her head like twisted and she popped her neck out. And the thing is that none of these coaches are going to pay for your medical bills. None of these coaches are going to pay for a chiropractic visit. And so I would watch things like that happen, and I would hear stories of people having injuries in CrossFit, but it had never happened to me. I was lifting really heavy at that time. My deadlift was 200 pounds. My back squat was getting up there. I was lifting a lot of heavy weight, and I did feel kind of pressure in my joints, especially my knees, like carrying around like a lot of muscle weight. Like I had a lot of pressure in my knees and in my wrists from doing a lot of the Olympic lifting. So anyway, flash forward to the last year I was doing CrossFit. I actually had an injury that took me out the game completely. So I had an injury where my ribs were popping out of place, And it became a thing where I would have my ribs pop out of place, and then I would go to the chiropractor, get them popped back in, literally dislocated, get them popped back in, and then I would be like, okay, I'm good, and just go to another workout. And that was kind of the environment that was pushed in the CrossFit community, was to just push through pain. Pain is weakness. Just push through pain. You can do it. Just do it anyway. And there was definitely times when my ribs were dislocated and I did the workout anyway. And I got to a point by like the 10th time, 10th, 12th, 20th time that it happened, where I realized I cannot do this anymore. I cannot. It's painful to have your ribs pop out of place. There was times where I felt like I couldn't even breathe because my rib was dislocated, and I would have to sleep with discomfort because the chiropractor wasn't open that late and I needed to go the next day. So there was a lot of pain and discomfort that came from this injury, and this injury completely took me out of weightlifting. Now I'm doing low impact exercises like walking and swimming, but it was a huge identity shift because CrossFit had become a huge identity for me for so long, to try to push myself as far as I can go. And honestly, I really think that my injury stopped me from something worse happening. And maybe it was my perspective, or maybe it was the environment's perspective of you have to always do more, because I was never satisfied with just staying at the same weight. I always wanted to add more weight. I always wanted to go up a level. I always wanted to push myself to do more. And I think that really shot me in the foot in the long run. And I think the environment itself is kind of toxic because they really push people past their limits in a negative way. Working out should not be something that is painful or traumatic, or you feel like you're doing more than what your body can actually handle. There's a lot of reasons why I stepped away from CrossFit. Even the people themselves were very toxic in that environment, and I was just sick of it. I had a narcissistic owner that was really ruining the gym, and people were just leaving in droves, just leaving the gym because she was so narcissistic and couldn't put herself in anybody else's shoes. Very problematic, was doing problematic things all the time. And so there were so many issues that CrossFit created as a culture that I had to step away from, and I had to reframe my identity around what being healthy really means. And now, because of my psych meds, I'm still on psych meds. My psych meds truly make me gain weight consistently. It's just something that comes with the medication. I'm on a lot of medication. And so the weight gain just consistently makes my weight climb up, even if I'm not doing anything outside of my normal routine. And so I've been open about being on weight loss medications. Right now, I've been taking metformin for a year. I'm still on metformin. I also take Ali as a supplement. I'm not sure how much it works because I can't really say a number of pounds I've lost, but right now I'm in the 165, 167 range, which is a huge, and I'll put a picture here of where I'm at now, and that's a huge difference from 200 pounds. So I have to remind myself that even though my workouts don't look the same, that I'm still making progress. And it can be very frustrating as someone who is trying to lose weight when you get an injury, or when you have to step away from a gym or environment that was really helping you get to your goals. So now I'm at just a regular gym with, it has a swimming pool, a hot tub, and I do a lot of walking and swimming. The swimming has been really good for my joints. My wrists and my knees feel so much better not doing CrossFit. I feel like I was putting a lot of pressure on them with how heavy I was lifting. And not to say that I'm never going to lift weights again. I truly do love lifting weights. But at the same time, I realized that the injury was forcing me to step back. And when you have to step back from something that you have strongly identified with, you have to reframe who you are and what you actually want, what your goals actually are. You have to reframe who you are and refine and reconnect to your personality that's outside of just weight loss and working out. And so for me, being on weight loss medication has really been a game changer. And I've never been on GLP-1s, but I am thinking about trying a GLP-1. Right now, I typically don't eat a lot throughout the day. I maybe have 2 to 3 meals, sometimes just 2 meals, but because the metformin will definitely take away some of your appetite. And I also just started a new weight loss medication that my doctor prescribed me called phentermine. Phentermine is a medication that's kind of like a stimulant. It gives you lots of energy, but it also stops working at about 6 months. So right now I'm working with my doctor to manage my weight. So right now I am going in for checkups, and after I finish this first bottle of phentermine, I'm gonna see if my weight has come down, and then we're gonna go from there. Obviously, my insurance didn't cover the GLP-1, so I've never tried a GLP-1, but I have looked into options like Row and other options where you can get a GLP-1 at a lower cost. So that's definitely, and now they have the GLP-1 pill too, which I hate needles. So I'm definitely interested in maybe trying something like that out. The thing is as you can see from my picture, I have a lot of curves. I have big boobs. I have a big ass. Like, I love my curves. Like, I truly love myself. I truly love my curves. I don't want to be stick skinny. Like, that's not, like, no offense to skinny people, okay? Because I'm a mid-sized girly, but I just don't want to be stick skinny. That's not something that I personally find attractive for my body. I love my curves. I love being a curvy girl. I love having, an hourglass shape, and I don't want to lose any fat in the wrong places. I just want to lose the stubborn fat in the right places. So that's been my journey on weight loss medications, and I will keep you guys updated with the phentermine. I know a lot of you guys responded that with the metformin, you guys have had success, and I've had success with metformin of just managing my blood sugar, because once again, the psych meds actually increase blood sugar. So the metformin decreases blood sugar. So I might even talk to my doctor about going up in my metformin dose, because I did see that my glucose levels were still high. And guys, I'm mainly sugar free. Like, I typically don't eat sugar. I might eat sugar like once every week or once every 2 weeks, but like all my drinks are sugar free. Like, I typically don't eat sugar, but my glucose levels were still high because of my psych meds. So I'm still working with my doctor to figure all of that out. It's hard to kind of reckon with the fact that, weight gain and weight loss has been such on the forefront of your mind for so long. I know a lot of people can relate to that, and I just want to encourage you and say that the journey is not linear. Sometimes it's cyclical. Sometimes you have to take a few steps back in order to make big leaps forward. So the weight gain is not about laziness. It's not from not trying. It's really just from medication doing what medication does, and a body that needed rest after years of very intense workouts. So what I actually learned in this experience is that my identity is not in a workout. My identity is not even in my weight. My identity is in my soul. And it's so important to not be so obsessed with outcomes, but to enjoy the process of moving your body. I think I've changed my mindset from moving my body for these unattainable goals to just moving my body for, health and wellness and exercise and feeling good. And it's something that, I'm getting back into now of just, moving my body consistently. But the weight loss medications have really kept me stable for these years where I've had to cut back because of my injury. And the thing with my injury is that as soon as I quit CrossFit, my injury stopped happening. And when I saw a physical therapist, she literally told me that the only way for my rib to stop popping out was for my arms to not go behind my shoulders. And in Olympic lifting, like I'll show you here in like a snatch lift, your arms are going way back behind your shoulders to catch the weight. So that was a huge reason why my ribs were popping out of place. So I just want to encourage everybody, like if you find yourself having an injury or you were committed to a workout program and for whatever reason life happened and you had to stop, like never feel bad about yourself. Like never take that out on yourself, because the body truly does have limits at the end of the day. And it's one of those things that we all have to understand, is that you can't push your body past a point of no return. I truly think that if I had continued working out the way I was, I would have had a permanent injury, not just something that was temporary that I could change with how I worked out, but maybe a permanent torn muscle, torn disc, torn, wrist, whatever it was. Like there were people that stopped doing CrossFit that had really permanent injuries. And the thing is, no one is going to tell you in that environment to slow down and pace yourself. It's just a fast-paced, high-pressure environment. So you have to be the one to monitor yourself and really ask yourself, am I doing something that my body is not capable of? It's really important on your weight loss journey to remember that you're gonna have setbacks. You're gonna have moments where you don't feel like it. You're gonna have times where you have things that happen outside of your control, like injuries. And it's just so important. And you might do things that you never thought you would do, like take weight loss medications. But it's so important to realize that everybody has a different journey and everybody's journey looks different. I had to unwind my identity from what my body could do in the gym to who I am as a person, creatively, physically, emotionally. I had to unwind my identity from how much I could lift, from how fast I could move, from what my body could do in the gym, to relearning how to pace myself, how to take care of my body, realizing that weight loss medications are right for certain people, especially when you have psych meds that are constantly spiking your weight and your glucose levels. Having something that regulates your glucose levels is a game changer, and it's really helped me keep a stable weight, even though I will say that in the past, I got down to about 165 and then, slowly climbed back up to 167, 168, 169. So right now I'm taking the phentermine to kind of try to help me lose those extra pounds. There was one weight loss medication called naltrexone that made me lose about like 10 pounds in like 3 months, but it was causing me to be really nauseous. I like couldn't keep food down, like everything tasted weird, like the nausea was really bad. And so I had to switch it out for something else. So it's a complicated process, and I'm still working on it, and I'm still not at my goal weight, which is okay. And that's fine. And it's okay for your goals to change around your body. You know, society has this thing that like is constantly pushing people to be skinnier and to not have curves and to get work done and to get lipo. And I'm not judging any women to do that. For me personally, I can't do surgery because I just have a very low pain tolerance. Like I cannot, if I can't handle my periods, which literally take me out of this world, then I'm not going to be able to handle a surgery where they're sucking fat out of my body. It's just not going to happen for me. But with weight loss medications, I really truly think they're harmless, and I really truly think they're life-saving for some people, even the GLP-1s, because once again, obesity is a disease, and it's something that we all have to fight against when our food is so processed, and everything that the government has done to put chemicals in our food and everything that's going on right now. Like, it is so important to do what works best for you and to not feel shame around anything regarding your weight loss journey. And honestly, I feel like the most myself that I've felt in years because I stopped outsourcing my identity to CrossFit. I stopped making it my whole personality. And I realized that I'm such a multi-talented, amazing individual with or without CrossFit. And I honestly feel like the pressure of just trying to perform every day and trying to reach new levels is completely gone. And I can just focus on doing what feels good and feels natural to me, which is, you know, low impact type of workouts. And I'm sure I'll work my way up to weightlifting again because I truly did love it. But if you're doing it for external validation instead of internal validation, you're gonna be disappointed. Because even when I got to my goal weight after 6 years of CrossFit, I still was trying to change things about my body. It was never enough, you know? And so it's just good to understand that whether I'm doing CrossFit or whether I'm not doing CrossFit, I can love myself throughout my weight loss and weight gain journey. And loving yourself is so important because you do things out of love instead of out of fear of, oh, I'm going to gain all this weight if I don't do this, or, oh, my body's not going to be perfect if I don't work out 6 times a week. Like, people really spend a lot of pressure, put a lot of pressure on themselves to perform at a high level when that might not even be necessary for just overall general health and wellness. And I'm not saying don't do hard things. Hard things, I believe, create a reward dopamine circuit in your brain of, I did something hard so I can do hard things and I can have challenges and get through them. But sometimes those hard things are stepping away from an environment that is hurting you. Sometimes those hard things are realizing that your identity is not intertwined with how you work out. You know, sometimes those hard things are learning how to love yourself, even if you gained a few extra pounds from the last couple months when you had just lost a couple pounds. So the journey is so complex. And I really am just posting this video as an encouragement to everybody who's struggling on their weight loss, weight gain journey, that it's okay to fluctuate. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to be really peak 1 month, and then the next month is just life happens and you're struggling and you're putting on weight because of medication or because of an injury or because your work schedule, whatever it is. Like, it's okay to fluctuate. My weight fluctuates all the time, and there's times where I've got down to a very small weight, and ever since I started taking the psych meds, it's just been like I just gain weight without doing anything differently. So I really encourage people who are on psych meds to think about weight loss medications, because there's certain things that even I, after 6 years of CrossFit, couldn't achieve without weight loss medication. Even with, and I'll put the picture up here, this was me with just diet and exercise, and I still was not able to achieve the full goal that I had set for myself. And I probably did lose a lot of muscle along with a lot of fat. But at the end of the day, my joints felt better after losing the weight. My wrists and my knees felt better after not having just huge quads and huge just muscles that were like putting pressure on my joints. So thank you so much for being here and listening to my story time. And this video was on my heart for a while, and I'm really glad that I finally said it out loud. If this resonated with you, please share it, because there is someone in your life who needs to hear that their worth is not tied to their body or their weight. So let's get that message to her. If you resonated with this message, like, comment, subscribe, and remember that you are on your own journey. Never compare yourself to other people's journey, because other people do not deal with what you deal with. They just don't. Not everyone deals with the things that you deal with. So never compare yourself to someone else's journey. Always follow your heart, follow your intuition, and listen to your body when it's telling you there's a limit, there's a cutoff, there's too much pressure that you're putting on your mind or your body. Listen to your body and let your body be your guide. It's so good to move. It's so good to be healthy. It's so good to exercise, but it's also good to remember that a lot of people are struggling with things that we just simply don't talk about. And weight loss is not as simple as calories in, calories out. It's just not as simple. It's very complicated. People with PCOS can understand this. People on psych meds can understand this. People who are struggling with all types of different medical conditions can relate to this. So never compare your journey to anyone else. And I love you guys. I will see you in the next video, and I hope you enjoyed this. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back for more.